friends, welcome to another episode of Andy's Audio Crap. We have an Optonica 7705. Alright, most wonderfulest everest thing about these Optonicas is this glass top. Every turntable that I get that has a plastic top, and I don't use the word every lightly. Unless it's new, usually has at least some scuffing on the lid, and the lid's actually, anything that's been exposed to UV rays is usually got some like nice tint to it as well. Now, some people like that vintage look. I'm not particularly fond of it. I love this glass. It is absolutely wonderful, although it is heavy, and it is, of course, shatterable, breakable, and all of that other good stuff that glass is. But I haven't had one yet that has had an issue with its glass top. I've had, I don't know, maybe a dozen of these. I love them. I like restoring them. Just a big fan. Okay, real quick, let's talk about the features of this turntable. Of course, it has a power on-off button. Big feature, and it has the pitch for 45 and 33, and then you have your speed selector, and then you have this quartz selector here. Now, if you hit that button, the quartz turns off, and you can manually control the speed of the record in case you're on an acid trip and you need to play your Black Sabbath on 45, not 45, but somewhere between 33 and 45. You can certainly do that, or you can hit this quartz and it will keep track of the time for you. And I've moved around and played around with these, and wonderful goodness, it works perfectly. You have this APLD, which is your track detection. And what this extra little tone arm here is, contains an optical sensor, and it shines a light down on the record, and when it's highly reflective, it counts that as a track. So the start of track number 1 would be the edge, number 2 would be here, 3, 4, you get the rest of the story. So if I hit track number 2, the light comes on, the green light comes on, and then I go over here and I hit play, it's going to start doing its thing, and it's going to count 1 in and play track number 2. All right, we'll cut that. Cut. All right. It does have the Q button, which raises and lowers the tone arm. Has the repeat, which will, if you play like song number 3 and then hit repeat and then hit play, it will play song number 3 twice. So awesome sauce. The thing I wish it did, and I haven't, I've had these for a while, but I haven't figured out how to get it to do it, if it does it, is to play number 2, number 4, and number 6. You'll see here that as I hit that, the light just illuminates the 1, and then I've tried holding them down and all the other stuff, and it doesn't do that. So like if I just hit that, it just goes back to number 2. All right, so if somebody knows how to get this to do that multi-track play, I don't think it does it. Anyways, it's kind of just a gimmick, in my opinion. There are some turntables out there that will allow you to program tracks. I think Techniques has a few that do that, and they're really cool. I think they're the linear tables, and I do love the linear tables, but I like this as well. The video I did of these really early on in the channel was kind of cool. It had quite a few views, and I called this the bathtub turntable because it's recessed. And another gimmick, it didn't really need to be recessed, but it for this glass top to work, I think that's what they determined needed to happen. So just how the design ended up, I guess. On here you have a little dot, a little peg, and this little peg needs to be on every turntable, in my humble opinion, because what that allows me to do is I take my needle and I can lay it down on there, and it tells me exactly where that needle needs to be. Cut, buddy. There we go. Outside of that, there's really nothing, you know, phenomenally different about this turntable. Its looks are, you know, extremely different than a traditional turntable. And that's about it. The operation is just normal turntable. On this particular one, I've got a brand new, vintage, new in box, old stock Grotto MCE1, which actually sounds really good on this particular player. Not that it wouldn't sound good on another player, but in my opinion, this player actually has a far less resonance or vibration than any other player. Like, I love these for that purpose. These things are nice and heavy, so when they're sitting on the shelf, they're not going to be you know, moving around you know, at a wind gust. You know, a lot of the newer players that you see out on the market, they're super light, and even looking at them wrong or shining a light on them will cause them to move. I was being sarcastic there, but you get the point. Love these things. If you have a chance, and what I heard, and I say if you have a chance to get one, get one, but from what I've heard, what I've read anyways, they are really rare. There's only a couple thousand of them out there. The thing is, they built them like tanks, so I wouldn't doubt it if most of them are actually still out there in various states of operation. And they aren't for the faint of heart to work on. You have to be pretty savvy with your electronics. This one actually, I pulled several of the capacitors out of it, tested them to make sure that they were still within spec, and they were within like 5%. So the replacements were off as much as the capacitors that are in it. The motors in these, the other version of this, where it does not have the optical sensor, the motors are 3 volt, and they're worm gear, and as a result, the worm gear causes a lot of friction and so on and so forth. The 3 volt motor doesn't have a lot of torque. They tend to be a little stubborn to get them going again. So if you have one of these that's not the optical and you're having trouble getting that motor over, try opening that motor up, and be very careful. Just crack it open from the side and spray some deoxit in there, and that will usually fix the problem. On this one, though, they jumped to a different motor setup that actually has a belt on it. So this one has a new belt in there, as well as all the mechanicals have been re-lubricated. This is a really good unit. I hope it finds a really good home. It's getting ready to go to the consignment at my local record store. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll get some more reviews posted as soon as I can.